Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. At the Model Clearout event, it's the best time to team up with a Honda you'll love.
Welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida. The Blue Jays and Rays will play the second of this three-game series, the final weekend series of the season. John Gibbons, the manager. The Blue Jays are 73-87. They won a one-run game last night, 7-6. They found out 12-inch. Randall Grichuk with the big hit. Take a look at this lineup tonight, and we thought we would feature the fact that there are 6 position player rookies in this lineup tonight. When you look at Aledmus, Diaz, Randall Grichuk, and Teoscar Hernandez, everybody else is a rookie. Birdie, Davis, Tellez, Jansen, Urania, and Alford. And then the pitcher's also a rookie, Ryan Baraki. So this really bodes well for the future for the Blue Jays that they're in this starting lineup, and they're matched up against potentially the American League Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah, Gibby wanted those young kids to face the best pitcher in the American League this year in Blake Snell. Look at these sterling numbers. 30 starts, 21-5 with a 190 earned run average. Last pitch against the Blue Jays didn't now allow a run in 6 2/3 innings. That was his second consecutive scoreless start and 9th scoreless start of the season. He's won 9 consecutive decisions, attempting to become the first pitcher in the majors to win 10 consecutive starts since Chris Sale did it, and the first to do it in a single season since Justin Verlander did it in 2011 with the Detroit Tigers. He has been the best pitcher from the start of the season to right now in the American League.
And when you get the best pitcher on the mound, you obviously want to put your best defense out there, and behind the plate, Jesus Sucre's done a good job catching for Blake Snell. He's back there this evening.
Yeah, he's caught 4 of his last 5 starts, and in those 4 starts that he's had against Snell, he's only given up 2 runs while he has been the catcher. 482 innings caught this season. That is a career high for Sucre. He's made 2 errors. That's a .996 fielding percentage. He and Blake Snell have really come together here in the second half of the season.
Well, John Birdie's going to lead things off, and what a good run it's been for Birdie. He has a 2-game hit streak. His first 2 games in the majors. And you can bet he's going to be anxious to cut on this first pitch. You don't want to let Blake Snell get ahead of you. Birdie's been a very good first pitch hitter all season long. Swings at the first pitch, bounces it off the glove of the second baseman, Brandon Lowe. So John Birdie jumped on the first pitch, and he reaches.
That should be an error because he got to it, but they're going to give him a hit, which surprises me. Blake Snell here at home can't throw a no-hitter. Now they are shading him up the middle. Yeah, why not swing at that first fastball you get? You don't want to get yourself into a position to have to deal with that curveball, but he got to that ball, reached for it, and clanked it off of his glove, but they give him a hit.
So John Birdie has a hit in all of his big league games. He's got a 3-game hit streak. This is Jonathan Davis, another one of the rookies. Blake Snell with a great fastball. Davis shows bunt, takes his strike. Blue Jays, we mentioned the 6 rookies in the starting lineup tonight. John Gibbons felt like, you know what, let's give these rookies a shot at Blake Snell. Snell is 2-0. This is his 4th start against the Blue Jays this season.
They all saw him last Sunday except for John Birdie, who was just called up this week. They saw him all last Sunday, so this isn't a surprise. Now, a lot different than standing in that batter's box against him. He's got 3 outstanding pitches. His fastball, his changeup, and his curveball. Outstanding. I mean, way above average.
His average fastball velocity almost 96 miles an hour. There goes the runner. Throw to second base, not nearly in time as John Birdie picks up a stolen base. Davis strikes out. He is called out on strikes, and Birdie steals his first big league base.
Got a great jump, and it's almost like Blake Snell forgot about him over there. High leg kick. He was concentrating on that batter. So Birdie, who had a few seasons in the minor leagues of high stolen base counts, will get his first big league stolen base.
So Birdie's in scoring position for Aledmus Diaz. Diaz, over his last 9 games, has hit .370. And you can bet he's geared up for a first pitch fastball. Changeup down and away for ball 1. Diaz over those last 9 games is 10 for 27 with a homer 3 doubles and 3 RBIs.
Ledmus didn't play it in yesterday's game against Glasnow. The right-hander will play tonight against the left-hander. Been swinging the bat a lot better here in the second half of the season. I asked him about that, and he said, you know what, I just decided to start taking my hits the other way. If they pitch me away, which they tend to do, I got to take my hits the other way. And I think the defense, at least in the outfield, reflects that for Diaz. He's hit some balls hard to right center field.
Birdie with a modest lead at second. Breaking ball inside and low. Snell thought it was a pretty good pitch. You can see he gave a long look to the umpire. It's now 3-0 count. Lance Barksdale's the home plate umpire for this ball game tonight. Blake Snell has only given up 3 runs in the first inning all season long. Blue Jays have a chance to add to that total.
You got to figure he's swinging right here, 3-0. Might be his only fastball he gets in this at bat.
And he got a changeup.
Wow, how about that? You know, when you're going for the ERA title, I don't have a problem with that in first inning. Not at all.
He's won 9 straight decisions. That started with his game against the Blue Jays August 10th. He threw 5 perfect innings against the Blue Jays in that start. Took him just 47 pitches. Breaking ball, strike 2. Diaz was headed to first. Diaz might be thinking that's a little makeup for that curveball earlier in the at-bat.
Yeah, you saw him laugh after that one curveball was called a strike. One of them has to be a strike. They were both really close.
Memo to hitter, don't laugh. 3-2. Birdie at second. Ball 4. So 2 men will reach here in the first against Blake Snell. We talk about his last 9 starts. He's won 9 straight decisions, and look at the numbers, Pat. They're ridiculous.
Yeah, this in the day of all the hitting in the American League with the designated hitter, pitching in the American League East for the most part, putting up these kind of numbers, you get a double take. You go, wait a minute, what's going on here? An ERA of 103, and it's got against some pretty good hitting teams like Cleveland twice, Boston, the Yankees, the Blue Jays a couple of times. You know, it's not like he's facing some teams that are not very good. He's facing some good offensive teams.
Yeah, he is as good as it gets. Here's Randall Grichuk. He had a big hit in last night's game. He pulls his first pitch foul. Grichuk came off the bench and delivered a 3-run triple to right field. That took the Blue Jays from a deficit to a lead. That turned the game into a 7-5 ball game.
And what a piece of hitting it was for Grichuk last night. He was up against Alvarado, the big left-hander reliever, who hits 100 miles an hour on his fastball. He just stayed back and shot the ball to right field. He's been doing that a lot lately in the second half.
So, Randall, we mentioned 35 extra base hits in the second half of the season. Only Matt Chapman has more extra base hits since the All-Star break. In the dirt. 2-1 now to Grichuk. Blue Jays trying to cash in here in the first inning. John Birdie got it started with an infield single. Then after Davis was called out on strikes, it led Diaz walk.
That play, I think, by the second baseman, or that non-play by the second baseman, has kind of thrown him out of whack a little bit here. One pitch into the game, he is into his stretch, and he has not been able to find the plate consistently here the last couple of batters. Blue Jays have to take advantage of it. When you've got a pitcher like this on the ropes, you've got to take advantage of it.
Another ball in dirt. You're right. Snell certainly battling his command right now. We always talk about first innings for starting pitchers, and it's an adjustment. It hasn't been a problem for Blake Snell this season. We mentioned he's allowed just 3 runs in the first innings of his games.
Here it is right there in 30 starts. 30 starts he's done that, but I think he threw that first pitch. It was a good pitch. It was a ground ball to second baseman. He thought that was an out. It turned out to be an infield hit, and he's battling right now.
That walk will load the bases. What an interesting start for the Blue Jays. Infield hit, couple of walks, bases loaded with one out for Rowdy Tellez.
Well, one thing that Rowdy Tellez has shown so far this season is his ability to hit tough pitches. How about this one from Tyler Glasnow? Down and in. The catcher was actually moving over to try and block it because he thought it was going to be in the dirt. But Rowdy squares it up, and somehow he kept that ball fair to right field. Circles the bases with his 4th home run of the season. That's one thing we've seen from Rowdy. His patience at the plate has been outstanding. Hitter first.
He's got some big power. Snell has given up 16 home runs this season. Only one was surrendered in the first inning. Snell has been the toughest pitching with runners in scoring position. He's allowed just 10 hits all season long with runners in scoring position. Tellez drives this one deep to left center. Alex Smith is on the run. He makes the catch. Tagging at third is Birdie, and the Blue Jays will have a 1-0 lead. John Birdie scores the first run of the ball game on the long sacrifice fly by Rowdy Tellez. That gives Tellez 14 ribbies.
I like the Blue Jays' approach here against Snell in the first inning. Don't wait around. Don't have long counts. Be ready to swing because his stuff is so good. He is facing now his 6th batter, and he's walked 2 of them, but he's only thrown 16 pitches in the first inning.
You made a great point about that first play of the ball game. It went for an infield hit. It should have been an out.
Absolutely. It should have been an out, and I think he thought it was an out too, and now he had to readjust. And readjusting out of the stretch a lot different than out of the windup.
Teoscar Hernandez homered in last night's game. He takes ball 1 outside. Teoscar was 2 for 3 in the game. He had a couple of walks and an infield hit in the 9th inning. His home run, number 21 on the season. First and second, 2 outs. Snell missed with that ball. It's 2-0. One thing we have seen already in this first inning is he will not give you that fastball in fastball counts. He threw a 3-0 changeup to Diaz for a strike. That ball gets away. It's a strike. Sucre boxed it up. It got away from him. It looked like a breaking ball called a strike. Sucre might have been crossed up.
Yeah, either way, he's going to be charged for a pass ball. That has to be. Doesn't look like he was crossed up. It looked like he was just trying to receive it for the umpire.
Yeah, and that's the problem with that framing stuff. You got to catch it first. And now there are 2 base runners in scoring position. You can see the control has been an issue for Snell in the first. He's thrown more balls than strikes. Boy, big hit right now for the Blue Jays. Pitch looked like a strike. It's called the ball, and now it's 3 balls and a strike. The ball that got away from Sucre was a strike.
Yes, it was. That made it 2-1, and now that high fastball, that ball called high, 3-1. Teoscar sell out right here. Try and give the Blue Jays a big lead in the first.
Another walk. 3 walks in the inning. Snell has thrown 21 pitches.
What do you think about this now with the bases loaded and Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach, is going to come out and talk to him? Maybe he goes back to the windup. Just hasn't looked comfortable at all in that stretch position.
He made 1 pitch out of the windup. First pitch of the ball game, and Birdie hit it for an infield hit. Now, Kyle Snyder has been the mentor for Blake Snell. They first really hooked up last year when Snell was sent back to AAA. You can bet Snyder's saying, hey man, it's only one run.
Yeah.
You get out of here right now, we're in good shape. So
Yeah.
don't think about the consequences.
He's got a good message to him right now also. Snell, we told you he's got 3 exceptional pitches. The fastball averages about 95 to 96. He throws it 52% of the time. There's the curveball. Hasn't been able to get that over, or his changeup that he throws 19% of the time. Hasn't been able to get those over here in the first inning. Blue Jays are patient.
Danny Jansen at the plate with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Delivers that first pitch strike. You hear the crowd getting behind Snell. Well, a great opportunity for the Jays to bust it wide open here in the first. Jansen with 3 homers and 8 ribbies so far this season, making his 23rd start behind the plate. Missed with that fastball. We mentioned Blake Snell pitching with runners in scoring position has allowed just 10 hits this season. He has really focused when he's got a chance to pitch with runners in scoring position.
And he gets really stingy. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Changeup missed downstairs. It's 2-1.
That's why I thought he might go back to that windup. Now with the bases loaded, he just doesn't look comfortable coming out of the stretch. Not finishing off his pitches. Doesn't look like he's getting his lower half into the equation.
Jansen with a 2-1 count. He gets jammed and fights it off. Danny has a couple of home runs in his last 8 games. He had a home run early on his second big league game in Kansas City back in August. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This is the pitch of decision for Snell. He doesn't want to run it to a full count with 2 outs. Breaking ball, and Jansen strikes out. Cliffgray steps on home plate. That ends the inning. So despite walking 3 in the inning, Blake Snell just gives up a run. Rowdy Tellez with a sac fly. 1-0 Jays. The bottom of the first here in St. Pete. Malik Smith top of the order, then Tommy Pham. Blue Jays haven't figured out how to pitch to Pham yet. He's 10 for 23. He's also reached base in 30 straight games. He has been a great addition to this lineup. And C.J. Cron over his last 10 games has a couple of doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. He's driven in 9. He leads the Rays in home runs and RBIs.
They will face Ryan Borucki, 17th and final start, 3rd start against the Rays this season. A very respectable earned run average at 376. The record doesn't reflect that. He has pitched much better than that record indicates, and I think he's getting better and better as the season goes along. He is running through the finish line this season. Last time out against Tampa, 7 very good innings and just 2 earned runs allowed.
Mallex Smith, the leadoff man, takes the first pitch strike. Baraki is facing Tampa Bay for the 3rd time in his last 5 starts. He's also pitched against Boston and Baltimore in this month of September, and September's been a very good month for him, as you mentioned. 0-1 to Smith. Base hit to center field. Mallex Smith. Big turnaround first, the leadoff single. Take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays. Iranian birdie up the middle. In the outfield, an interesting center and right field combination tonight.
Yeah, let's start with Anthony Alford. Gets his first start in right field tonight for the Blue Jays. We've all seen him, but he's going to be next to his brother-in-law. That is Jonathan Davis, who will get to start in center field, and we figured that the 2 of them would be playing side by side at some point this season. John Gibbons pencils them in tonight, playing in right field and in center field.
So here's Tommy Pham, and Mallex Smith a threat to steal over at first. Pham hits it ball on ground. This should be 2. Urania to birdie, back to first, a double play. So that leadoff single erased immediately on the 6-4-3 double play.
You know, we were talking about that in the opening, and we were talking about Ryan Borucki and what the Blue Jays see in him and why they like him. He'll give up his share of hits, you know, but he's got that toughness to come right back and make pitches and get himself a better result. So he gave up a hit to Smith. Next pitch, double play. Now he's back out of the windup.
It says Willie Adames hitting in the 3rd spot tonight. Adames batting .271 for the season. He's got 7 doubles and 10 home runs. Changeup is fouled off. Adames, like so many of these Rays, has been finishing up strong, hitting well over 300 during his last 13 games, and now he's behind 1-2.
Just watch how some of these hitters take fastballs. We saw it last night from Thomas Pannone. It's almost like they're surprised.
Bouncing ball, 2 Hopper to 3rd. Aledmys Diaz across the diamond. Quick inning for Ryan Brucke. It took him just 7 pitches. A double play and a ground out. 1-0 after 1.
Gibbons' final game as the Blue Jays manager. That's because in tomorrow's season finale, he's going to hand the reins over to his veteran catcher, Russell Martin. According to Gibbons, Martin will be responsible for putting the lineup together, taking over media responsibilities, and making all in-game decisions. Gibbons approached Martin with the idea a couple of weeks ago. Gibbons always thought Martin, with his background and experience, would be an ideal candidate if he ever wanted to do it in the future. Martin told me he's looking forward to it. The thought of managing hasn't really crossed his mind. He never took it seriously because he was concentrating on playing. Gibbons has already informed Chief Baseball Officer Joe Torre. Torre telling Gibbons he had done it before in the past. So, Buck, it'll be an interesting day tomorrow. Gibbons' last day and Martin's first as a Blue Jays manager.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun way to end up the season, and that's the way to look at it. Russell's just going to take over and sit in the manager's chair The record, whatever happens, a win or loss, it'll go on John Gibbons' record. And he will end up overall, no matter what happens, with a winning record for his career. He's won 793 games in his career.
Should Russell be down there with the coaches here getting some tips during tonight's game?
I don't think you want to overdo it. I think he'll. I wonder if he's going to get dressed in Gibby's office. Huh? Nobody asked him about that.
Maybe he'll do his media scrum inside the office there. I know some of the other managers in the past have had their, well, I'll say managers, their teammates as their pitching coach and the bench coach. I wonder if Russell's going to name that after today.
Yeah, he could probably find somebody to help him out. Maybe Marco Estrada could be his pitching coach. Richard Urania has been swinging the bat well of late. He is one of the 6 rookies in the Blue Jays lineup. And I think it's been a real good finish for Urania. He had 3 hits in the game last night, but I told him today during batting practice, I thought the most impressive thing he did was scoring from first base on Birdie's double. There he goes after the breaking ball and strikes out. Sucre throws to first to complete the strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Snell.
Well, he certainly has opened up some eyes, I think, with his play in the last couple of weeks. Now you get the big boy, Blake Snell. Let's see what you can do against him. And Blue Jays got rookies up and down their lineup tonight to face him.
Anthony Alford getting his first start this season. Alford was just called up on the 17th of September. He goes after that first pitch breaking ball. Alford got into 4 games last year. He had his first big league hit last year in Milwaukee. It was a double. And then he broke a hamate bone in his hand. Left hand broke that hamate bone, so that knocked him off the roster. He never came back to the Blue Jays last season.
He's had a lot of injuries in his Blue Jays career. You'd like to see him, you know, just 1 year just be completely healthy, get 4 or 5, 550 at bats and see where it takes him. He's got a ton of talent, and the Blue Jays have been waiting a long time for him to develop.
A check swing foul. Anthony Alford's family is here. That's his father-in-law, Terry Montgomery, and Terry's wife, Niswana. And in the Blue Jays jersey, that is Anthony's wife, Bailey. And in that back row behind, that's Jonathan Davis's wife sitting on the aisle, Hannah. So the Alford family is here, and the brothers-in-law are starting in this game. It's a pretty cool day for the Alfords and their in-laws.
I think it's so awesome, and it's one of the nicest families you ever want to meet.
I asked Bailey Alford if she was happy that Anthony is now playing baseball instead of football, and she said absolutely. There's another breaking ball, another strikeout for Snell. 3 in a row now, 4 in the ball game.
Now, if you're unfamiliar with Blake Snell, you haven't faced him before, and the Blue Jays have their share of those guys in the lineup, it can be a daunting task. Tough to lay off that breaking ball. It's a strike, and all of a sudden it drops out of the strike zone. He'll get a lot of whiffs, a lot of strikeouts with that overhand curveball.
Back to the top of the order. John Birdie had an infield hit. He falls behind 0-1 with that fastball. Late on that fastball. Boy, Pat, you were right on the money when you talk about Blake Snell pitching out of the stretch compared to pitching out of the windup. This is a totally different inning. He threw 1 pitch in the first inning out of the windup. That was the infield hit. After that, he was in the stretch for the whole inning.
And he really struggled to get through that inning, but he only gave up 1 run.
Well, this just in. Blake Snell is back. Strikes out the side. 4 in a row, 5 in the game.
ticket memberships are on sale now. Purchase season tickets and automatically become enrolled in My Blue Jays. Learn more at mybluejays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And you can see a lot of Blue Jay fans here. They have brought their signs to acknowledge John Gibbons. He has been a very popular manager, and this is going to be his last weekend at the helm of the Blue Jays. C.J. Cron leads things off for Tampa Bay. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Cron is 1 for 6 going up against Barucki. He went after that pitch. Wow. From the dugout, the Blue Jays should be hollering if he hits it, it's a double. He took a full swing at that.
Yep, and both of them almost identical pitches, identical calls just off the plate. That one, you could tell he didn't go on that one.
Will Little's down at first base. Blue Jays see Will Little a lot during spring training. He's one of the umpires assigned to their spring training games. 3-0 green light, high fly ball, deep right field. This ball is going to go. C.J. Cron with his 30th home run of the season, becoming the 9th Ray to hit 30 in a single season. And it's a tie game.
And that's a milestone home run for him. They wanted to get him at plenty of at-bats over the weekend here to give him a chance to hit that 30th home run. They gave him a green light, 3-0 fastball. Everything was away. Ryan Barucki was not going to let him pull that ball for the home run. He said, if you're going to beat me, it's got to go opposite field. And he's plenty strong enough to do that. Sends it out of here. You can see his teammates very excited for him to have that 30 home run season.
14 more than he's ever hit in a single season. He has truly been the lone home run threat in this lineup all year long.
Yeah, it's the first time that he's really got extended playing time every day, getting a chance to play. They brought him over here to supply some home runs, and he understands what he's trying to do. Fastball, fastball, fastball away. I'm going to look out there, and he gets that 4th one out there, sends it out of here.
Good breaking ball there to Brandon Lau. C.J. Cron started with the Angels. Like you said, he didn't get a real good opportunity there. They had a fellow over there named Albert Pujols who was doing most of the DHing and playing first base a lot.
Yeah, when they went out and got Shohei Ohtani, and they said he's going to DH, possibly play in the field and pitch, that made Cron expendable. And the Rays did a good job of recognizing that and said, you know what, we're getting rid of Logan Morrison. We're going to need a first baseman, and we need at least one legitimate power hitter in our lineup. And that's him.
Cron spent parts of 4 seasons with the Angels. He actually hit his first big league home run against the Blue Jays at Rogers Center. So his home run, his 89th home run of his career, his 30th of the season, and it's tied the game at 1. The appeal down to third, and Mark Carlson said yes. Lau chased it. First strikeout of the ball game for Barucki.
Ryan has been trying to tighten up his slider and throw it just a little bit harder as the season progresses. And I got to get the hitter something else to think about. And this is the slider, a little bit tighter, a little bit tougher break. And he will pick up his first strikeout on that check swing as he goes around.
Carlos Gomez is the batter, the right fielder in the lineup. He did not play in the game last night. Gomez, longtime big leaguer, he is now 32 years old. In his 12th big league season, he started with the Mets way back in 2007. It's a high pop up on the infield. John Birdie keeping his eye on that ball and makes the catch right at the edge of the turf. 2 away.
Ryan Barucki, I think, is getting better as the season finishes up. His last 4 starts. Look at the earned run average, the opponent's batting average, all the numbers great. And when he's got runners on, he's been able to lay them down. Just 2 hits with runners in scoring position. I think it's about his command, and I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, who he is as a pitcher.
He knows who he is, and he doesn't try to be anything more than that. He's a command pitcher that has to throw strikes with all of his pitches, and he has to change speeds with his breaking ball and his changeup.
Those last 4 starts, 2 of them against Tampa Bay, who've always been tough against the Blue Jays, and Boston and Baltimore.
The home run that he gave up to C.J. Cron to start this inning was just the 4th extra base hit he's given up in September. First home run he surrendered in September. This is Austin Meadows. Inside. Meadows is the DH tonight. He's a very good-looking young outfielder. Started the season with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Came to Tampa Bay in the trade that sent Chris Archer to Pittsburgh. There's an inside strike. 3-1. For Barucki making his 17th start of the season, it's been a great year for him to gain that much experience in the big leagues. Just missed down and away. A 2-out walk issued to Austin Meadows, the number 7 hitter.
You know, Ryan is everything that we heard he was going to be. When we talk to the Blue Jay people, and they tell us he's this, he's tough, he's competitor, he is talented, he's everything that you would hope for in a pitcher, but he was a minor leaguer, and you just don't know how that's going to transition to the major leagues. First time he stepped on a ball field here at the major league level, looked like he'd been there for 10 years.
First game was against the Houston Astros in Houston. The reigning world champs.
And I love that he's not intimidated. He knows who he is. He knows how he has to get outs. And, you know, they did a good job of polishing him off and finishing up his development in the minor leagues this year.
Inside to the catcher, Jesus Sucre. Sucre batting .212 for the season. He hit his first home run against the Blue Jays the last time these two teams met at Rogers Center. He had 7 homers last year, just a single home run this season. He's late on that pitch, up and away. Brian Barucki is a former 15th round pick by the Blue Jays. He was a late bloomer and was a position player in high school. They say he grew 7 inches from his junior year to his senior year in high school. There goes the runner. Ball is hit deep to left field. And that ball is going to be caught by Teoscar Hernandez. Nice running catch as Sucre flies out to left field. C.J. Cron hits a home run. It's a 1-1 game as we head to the 3rd.
Pilar told me that there's this, quote, weird dynamic in the clubhouse right now. As the longest tenured Blue Jay, Pilar embraces the responsibility of mentoring some of the young outfielders. He says he's an open book. He talks to them about not only baseball, but the city of Toronto and life as a major leaguer. But in the back of his mind, he understands that these young guys could potentially take his job away from him next season. Pilar Buck told me he welcomes the competition, saying, quote, it will push me to bring out the best version of myself in 2019.
You know, Hazel, I think we have seen that play out here in the month of September with all the youngsters coming up and the Billy McKinney's of the world and the Baruckis and everybody. And I think even for the rookies, Richard Urania has noticed the competition and how things are getting more intense in the system. With Gurriel playing so well before his injury, I think it's helped everybody because you see the talent now, some of these youngsters coming up, and Pilar is aware. Some of those kids are going to make a bid to make this team next spring.
You know what's caught my eye this month with all the young players that have come up here is how easily the veterans have been there to help them. Where you have seen Luke Maley really help out Danny Jansen and Reese McGuire in catching and throwing and talking about setting up hitters. Justin Smoke with Rowdy Tellez over at first base. The outfield, Pilar. What about Pilar when he was holding the meeting with all the young outfielders?
In New York after the game. Because Teoscar had gone for a ball with a bare hand late in the game and allowed Giancarlo Stanton to reach third base in a one-run game. There's a fly ball to right field. Gomez was shaded in that direction, gets to the fence and makes a nice catch. Right up against the fence, Carlos Gomez, the veteran, makes a nice catch on Jonathan Davis.
That was an interesting defensive alignment for the Tampa Bay Rays. Gomez was really hugging the line down the right field line, and Davis is a right-handed hitter. But the statistics say let's punch him fastballs away. They don't think he can turn on a good fastball, and he hit it right where he was playing.
He has fouls it back. I want to finish up a thought about Kevin Pilar. When he came up in 2013, he was 24 years old, and the team was a very old team, veteran team. Bautista, Melky Cabrera, Jose Reyes, Edwin Encarnacion. Broken bat, little looper. That's going to drop for Diaz. A base hit to right field. A one-out single. But with Pilar, he was not embraced when he first came. I can remember the first day he walked into the dugout, a veteran said, "Hey, you're sitting in my seat." This year, when he welcomed all of the rookies up, he was the first to embrace him. And I'll never forget when Jonathan Davis got his first start in center. Kevin Pilar was the last one to wish him good luck as he headed for the field. So that incident, when he came up, stuck in his mind, and now he wants to make sure he brings all these youngsters in and embraces them as part of this team.
Yeah, he just didn't know that certain players sat in certain places in the home dugout when he was asked rather rudely to move. And you and I, when we heard that story, were like, well, isn't he part of the team? Isn't there a better way to tell a young player to move?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, he's remembered that, and he's going to pass that lesson on to some of the young kids who have come up now.
There are going to be several changes in this roster next year, no question about it. And a lot of these veteran players won't be here. There's no getting around it. They'll be involved in trades. They'll be involved in contract situations. There's another line drive off the bat of Randall Grichuk. So back-to-back one-out singles here in the third. So I think people might be surprised by the activity in the offseason and how much this roster will look different come next spring.
And we have no idea how that's going to go. But you just look around and you look at the sheer numbers and who has to be protected and who's going to be out of options and who has to go on the roster. I mean, it just numerically, it just doesn't fit. It's a mathematical question. It's not going to fit.
And it's baseball. And as teams try to rebuild and get back to the contender status, you make changes. Rowdy Tellez has certainly made his presence known. He had a sac fly in the first inning. Interesting, he had a sac fly on a fastball in the first inning and Snell comes right back with him. So Tellez learning that just because you think he might change, no reason to get off the fastball.
And that's he's an interesting guy for next year. Still young. Signed out of high school, so should be getting close to, to the major leagues. But he's blocked right now. Justin Smoke is their everyday first baseman. He's blocked.
Kendrys Morales is signed for another year as the DH. Smoke and Morales, of course, are switch hitters. And Smoke's a good player, one of the best first basemen in the American League. Breaking ball as Snell strikes out Pelez. 6 strikeouts now, 2 outs in the inning.
Picked up the Blue Jays' first run with a sacrifice fly in the first inning, and Blake Snell is not going to let that happen. That curveball. You've heard the term 12 to 6. It's like hands on a clock. From 12 to 6, it goes straight down. That's what his curveball does to pick up another strikeout. That's 6 of them now.
2 outs. Teoscar Hernandez drew a walk the first inning. One of 3 walks Snell issued in that first inning. But he stranded the bases loaded. Here's another interesting situation. Teoscar Hernandez with 21 home runs, but a .240 average and an on-base percentage at just .302. The Blue Jays have a lot of similar players, especially on the infield. When you think about Devin Travis and Richard Urania and Gurriel and Diaz and Solarte, and then you go to the outfield.
And some of their highest rated prospects are middle infielders. So there's going to be a log jam there. So some decisions have to be made this offseason. What they're going to do there. And in the outfield, it's starting to get backed up.
Well, Jonathan Davis has had a chance to play a little bit. Alfred's getting his first start of the season tonight. But they probably don't have as many outfield prospects in the upper levels of the minor system as they do infield prospects. And they're certainly deep in catching. Inside. Ball and a strike to Teoscar Hernandez. But even Teoscar, he's just 25 years old. He'll turn 26 on the 15th of October. But yeah, he has flashes where you say, oh man, this guy's going to be an everyday player. And then he'll make a mistake in the field. He'll make an error. Teoscar has committed 8 errors this year in the outfield. That's a bunch.
And 10 outfield assists. But those are the growing pains. And I think that's what you're starting to see. Players come into the major leagues and they're getting it. He has a quality that is hard to teach, and that's power.
But here's a concern. First half he hit .257, second half just .210. So I think the biggest thing that an organization wants is consistency. If you're a .260 hitter, hit .260 all year long. If you're a .290 hitter, hit .290. Be consistent. Have good at bats day in and day out.
You know what? I'll say that about a player who's been in the big leagues 5 years, but this is a young kid who's really, he hasn't even had a full season in the big leagues.
Wow, that's a borderline strike downstairs with the changeup.
You know, if he goes and plays winter ball and maybe makes some of those adjustments, he was talking the other day about maybe opening up his lower half to make an adjustment. He felt like he was getting locked up a lot and not seeing the ball. Goes to winter ball and makes those adjustments and gains a little bit more experience and comes back next year and has a big year. They've got something.
Teoscar strikes out. He's called out on strike. So Blake Snell once again pitching tough with runners in scoring position. He got 7 strikeouts through 3 innings. have called up this season, and he and his partner Reese McGuire, boy, they're like sponges. They want to have instruction, and they get some from the skipper here.
Who was an ex-catcher. You can see him talking about something about catching or what Barucki is doing or how they're pitching. I wonder if this goes back to the at-bat by C.J. Crone. This is after they came off the field last inning. C.J. Crone, it was 3-0. Everything was away, and he got the green light 3-0 and took a deep. I'm sure Gibby's talking about, hey, maybe you throw a pitch inside or you change speeds just a little bit. You can't throw good hitters the same pitch 4 times in a row. So it's a constant learning lesson, and Gibby, there's no comparison for experience. And Gibby's been back there. Managers who have that playing experience, who've been there, you know, they can offer so much to their players now.
John Gibbons was a #1 pick of the Mets, and he caught over 1,000 games, almost 1,000 games in the minor leagues. And were it not for an injury, no telling that he might have been part of that big '86 Mets team. But they went out and traded for Gary Carter. But John was a very gifted catcher, and then he broke his jaw, I think, in a home plate collision. And it's a high fly ball. Anthony Alford keeps his eye on it, makes the catch.
But his experience as a player behind the dish, you know, you take that then as a manager, and that's how you understand players. You understand what they're going through, and then you pass along some of the experiences that you had. Maybe there was a time where he was behind the plate and they had a big right-handed hitter up and they fed him 4 straight fastballs. He said, you know what, that's not what you want to do. At some point, you got to throw that slider down and in.
Alex Smith hits it on the ground to Urania, who unloads in a hurry. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell's got an update for us. Well, the Dodgers and the Giants, how about that for a way to finish off the season? Kershaw goes 5 innings, gives up 5 earned runs on 8 hits. He's out of the game. Kershaw had a 2-run single in that ball game to add to the Dodgers total. Now they have a 6-5 lead over the Giants. They've out-hit the Giants 13-8. And if they win, they will clinch their spot into postseason.
That would keep the 2-game lead over St. Louis, who won today. That would give them that 2-game lead with 1 to play, so they would clinch a playoff spot. It's just where. Do they win the division, or they go as a wild card? They started today a game behind Colorado in the National League West.
This is Tommy Pham. Pham hit into a double play his first time up. Well, the Cardinals won, as you mentioned. They beat the Cubs 2-1 today. If the Cardinals and the Dodgers tie for the second wild card, St. Louis would host that playoff game. There's a drive to center field. Jonathan Davis is there. A quick inning for Ryan Barucki. 3 up, 3 down. He's retired 4 in a row. We're still tied as we go to the 4th inning. 1-1 game. It's always great to have discussions about who might be the award winners at the end of the season, and we thought we'd talk about the AL Cy Young race since Blake Snell is pitching in this game tonight.
And these are the updated stats right now. Verlander is pitching today. He's had 10 strikeouts. He's up to strikeout total to 290, 16-9. Blake Snell, there are his numbers. Corey Kluber pitches later on tonight. But for Blake Snell, that 21 wins and the ERA of 191, that leads the American League. And the last 10 pitchers to lead the American League in both ERA and victories have all won the American League Cy Young Award. So I'm not breaking from that. If he wins this game, pitches a good game, I think he's won the Cy Young.
I agree with you. And I also agree with you that that run in the first inning should be an unearned run.
Absolutely.
There's a good fastball at 97 on the inside corner. It's 0-2 to Danny Jansen. In case you're just joining us, there was a ground ball on the first pitch of the game. John Birdie hit a ground ball to the second baseman. And Brandon Lau got a glove on it, but booted it, and the score ruled it a hit, which is really surprising given that this is the home ballpark of Blake Snell, and to me it was an error all the way. I don't even think it was questionable.
I gave him an infield hit. He came around to score, so that's an earned run.
But since then, Snell has really tightened things down. The Blue Jays got a couple of one-out singles in the third, but they stranded both of those base runners. Different breaking ball right there. That's a slider he'll throw occasionally. It's 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, doesn't throw it very often, that slider. But this year they're hitting 098 against this slider. It's just 88 miles an hour. Just.
That's the curveball at 80. Another strikeout for Snell. Again, 3 in a row, 8 in the ball game.
The 2018 Honda CR-V, where style and versatility come together.
Out of the fourth inning, 1 out. As Blake Snell has gotten back on that strikeout string. He struck out the last 3 Blue Jays, and Richard Urania trying to check his swing. This is what's impressive about Blake Snell. That last pitch, 98 miles an hour in his final start of the season. He has carried his stuff right through the entire schedule.
Yeah, I've been seeing some things. Well, you know, he's not going to have enough innings to he shouldn't win the Cy Young because he's not going to have enough innings. He started this game with 175 innings. If he did throw a complete game, he would still have fewer innings than the last Cy Young Award winner had under 200 innings pitched. But my contention is that's not up to him. That's up to the manager. And the way they do things right now, they just don't push starters the way they did 10, 15, 20 years ago. Snell's had very few games where he got knocked out early. I think 2 games all year long when he got knocked out in the 4th inning. That's it. Everything else has been competitive. Talked about the no decisions. He's had 4 no decisions. He was leading in 1. He was tied in all the other 3. And he'd given up 4 runs total in those 4 no decisions. So when you want to talk about consistency from the first start of the season to right now, I think there's no question that this guy's been the best pitcher in the American League.
Pitching in the American League East against all these tough teams in the real small ballparks, and he's done a terrific job. I agree with you 100%. There are some quote-unquote experts that have him 5th in the Cy Young voting.
What game are they watching?
They're not paying attention. Fly ball left field off the bat of Anthony Alford. Tommy Pham makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. 9 strikeouts. Still a 1-1 game for Rucky and Snell.
Back Wednesday night hockey with a doubleheader. First, Max Domi and the Canadiens take on John Tavares and the Maple Leafs. Then Johnny Gaudreau and the Flames take on the Canucks. It's opening night on Sportsnet Wednesday, right here on the network.
Hard to fathom that the NHL is going to kick it off on Wednesday, and you want to make sure you check it all out. Great broadcast teams are set to bring you all the action all season long in the NHL right here on Sportsnet. Bottom of the fourth inning. Well, Adames takes the first pitch outside. Adames grounded out to third base to end the bottom of the first. Another thing Borucki has done consistently, and he hasn't wavered since his first start, works quickly. No matter what the outcome, and you and I have talked about this in the past, and David Cohn always talks about it, the great pitcher, about presentation. When you stand on the mound, you present an image to the hitter. And Borucki's image is nothing but positive.
Confidence. I mean, he exudes confidence, if you ask me. You can see Pete wasn't really happy either with that pitch or that call.
Up the middle, base hit. Well, Adames with a leadoff single.
Well, he's done nothing but beat up the Blue Jays this season. Really, Adames, it seems like every time they need a base hit, this guy comes up with a big hit against the Blue Jays. It looked like a slider from Borucki that was going to go down and in. His career, which is this season because he's his first year, 400 hitter. That's his 19th hit against the Blue Jays.
He just turned 23 on September 2nd this year. He's a good-looking hitter. Tonight he's playing in his 84th big league game. This is C.J. Cron, who's responsible for the Rays run. Hit an opposite field, the home run in the second. The home run came on a 3-0 pitch just outside, and he drove it into the seats in right, his 30th home run. You know, you can really see what a hitter's trying to do. Just watch how he takes pitches. He was looking for a pitch inside right there, and it was up and away, figuring that Borucki wasn't going to pitch him away after he homered on an outside pitch.
He's already homered on a 3-0 pitch, so they throw him a changeup.
Remember the shots we had of Jansen talking with John Gibbons, and we surmised it was about pitch selection and how you pitch to big power hitters. So Jansen goes out to have a quick visit with his pal Ryan Borucki. Got a runner at second base, so that makes sure the signs they're on the same page with that. The walk to Cron is the second walk issued by Ryan.
Now, I'm interested to see what the Rays are going to do now with the first two reaching base here. You got Blake Snell on the mound. Runs are going to be hard to come by. Did they play for one run here or two runs after the first two batters reach?
Brandon Lau struck out. He squares to bunt, and Jansen's got a shot at the runner at second. They get him. Oh, what a heads-up play by Danny Jansen. Adames over aggressive with his secondary lead, and Danny Jansen threw a strike to second base.
That's one of the hardest plays for a runner at second base, I think. You can see where the pitch is. If it's a strike, you can get out there. The batter pulls the bat back, and you're really caught in no man's land.
Let me tell you, the key to this whole situation was a first pitch breaking ball in a bunting situation. Watch the hitter. He kind of swings at it, and then Jansen's got a perfect pitch to throw to second. I don't know if that's a tag in time, but boy, what a good play, and the umpires are going to look at it. It looked like Adames may have reached around the tag of Urania. But I love the first pitch breaking ball in a bunting situation. It's a great call.
Because what's going to happen? That batter is going to, there's a good chance he's going to bunt through it. He didn't attempt at that, but it was called a ball. Here's the play at second base. Does he get the tag down? Here's the tag. Is there enough evidence?
If you rewind that just a bit, his glove actually bent before Adames' hand hit the base. It was really interesting. If you watch Ureña's glove right here, watch his glove. The hand still reaching for the base, but watch his glove bend.
Right there.
Right there. His glove actually bent because he had made contact with the runner, and I don't know if the hand is on the base, but you can see the glove move as the hand was just about to touch the base. And the play on the field stands. Adames got too aggressive on that bunt attempt. Boy, that's a big out for the Blue Jays. Good job by Danny Jansen calling the pitch and then delivering a strong throw to second.
Thought they might play for a run with Snell on the mound, and that one worked to the Jays' advantage.
So Brandon Lau now with a 2-0 count. Well, you got to take advantage of that out. Get a ground ball here, get a double play, and get out of the inning. There's a strike, 2-1. Well, this is another example of Borucki and how calm and cool he is. Gives up a single and walk, 2 on, nobody out, just keeps making good pitches.
Here's another good one, a hard slider right there. That's why I think it's so important for young players to finish off their development at the minor league level. You got to see everything. So when you come to the major leagues, you're not going to be intimidated. You're not going to panic. You have something positive to go back to. Good pitch.
Well, what a turnaround inning for Borucki and the Blue Jays. 2 on, nobody out. Then Danny Jansen picks off Adames at second, and now Brandon Lau is caught looking at strike 3.
For too many years, we would see players come up and they just weren't ready to succeed at the major league level because they hadn't spent enough time at the minor league level. Seeing all of these types of situations, you can see Borucki, how polished he is.
Here's Carlos Gomez. Gomez popped out the second baseman, his only time up. Big swing from Gomez.
He likes that ball out in front where he could try and hook the ball to left field. So you just got to keep the ball away from him. That time it was a little changeup. Make him reach for the ball.
Right back to the same spot. Another good pitch right on the inside corner. Borucki doesn't throw a 4-seam fastball. His fastball, he always throws 2-seam fastballs, but he can get that 2-seamer inside to right-handed hitters.
And they just don't see it. It's like Pannone, like we were talking about. He does a good job of hiding the ball.
Did he go around? No, according to Will Little at first. Full count, 2 outs. C.J. Cron, the runner at first base, will be moving on the pitch. Rowdy Tellez has backed up behind the base runner at first.
Gomez has been struggling. He's 0 for his last 17. It looks like he wants to try and do some damage. Maybe you take the sting out of his bat by throwing him an off-speed pitch.
He threw him a changeup and missed. A 2-out walk. Second walk of the inning, third of the game, issued by Borucki.
Hurry into Home Hardware's kitchen event on now until October 9th. Here's how.
2 outs, 2 on. Austin Meadows, the DH, lefty on lefty. Blue Jays scored their run in the first. The Rays got their run in the second. It's a 1-1 game here in the bottom of the fourth. Just off the plate, 2-0.
You don't see a lot of left-handed batters against left-handed pitchers where they're going to shift, but they've got enough information on Austin Meadows to shift on him. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. There are the numbers: 40% right at second base, 30% up the middle. They'll give him that 11%. That's straightaway shortstop. Hey, there are all kind of numbers out there for defenses.
They have those spray charts for hitters against lefty pitching, righty pitching, power pitchers, finesse pitchers. That's why you see oftentimes defenders, infielders, and outfielders with a little cheat sheet in their back pocket.
Yeah, and it's all about percentages. You saw the percentages right there. We just showed them to you. So they're going to try and take away those hits.
Missed down and away. Again, it's a full count. This time the runners are at first and second with 2 outs. Gomez can still run. He's at first. Chopper off home plate. Barucki comes off the mound, and he will put the tag on Meadows, and that ends the inning. So Ryan Barucki strands a pair. We'll go to the fifth. It's a 1-1 game. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell, Joe Siddle, and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Blue Jays home screen icons and features such as the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Don't forget to download MLB At Bat today.
Blue Jays fans having a good time here at Tropicana Field as the Blue Jays and Rays are tied at 1 apiece. We're in the top of the fifth, back to the top of the order. John Birdie takes the first pitch, breaking ball. Birdie had an infield single that scored the Blue Jays run back in the first. Changeup. Now really sells that pitch very well with terrific arm action.
And he's got some fade to it. You know, we've been watching Marco Estrada for years, and the way he throws his changeup, it just backspin, but it stays on plane. His changeup goes down.
Ball is hit in the air. Alex Smith running over in the alley makes the catch in right center. Birdie's retired, first out of the fifth.
Pretty impressive at bats for me, for John Birdie. I mean, he's only had a few games in the big leagues, but he doesn't look overmatched. He looks like he's going to have good at bats. I mean, this could be overwhelming for young players. Go home for 10 days at the end of your season in the minor leagues, sit around for a little bit. Hey, time to strap it back on. And he hasn't looked overmatched at all.
Not at all. And he's a good player. He's one of those guys that grows on you. The more you see him play, the more you like him. Managers love him. They've had him in the minor leagues for a long time. And you mentioned he spent some time this year in the Cleveland minor league system. He was kind of traded on loan. And there's a bunt. Snell makes the play. It's a foot race, and Jonathan Davis out with a head first slide. Boy, if he gets that past Blake Snell, he got a chance for a base hit, but a good idea by Jonathan Davis in this 1-1 game.
Yeah, get that speed on board any way you can. If you can't walk or get a base hit, how about bunting? Look at the second baseman where he's playing, up the middle, and your whole idea was just get it by the pitcher, and then it's you, Jonathan Davis, versus the second baseman, Brandon Lau, but for some reason he just can't get it by Snell. He's an excellent athlete. See him pound off that mound.
What he didn't do was he didn't fall toward the third base foul line. He came right straight toward home in his follow through, and that allowed him to get to that bunt. So 2 outs here for the Blue Jays in the top of the fifth. And Mastias has walked in single. His average of 266. He's had a great second half, just like Randall Grichuk.
Power, 18 home runs. He's driven in 64 runs this season. And that average just keep going up. He was telling me the other day that it was hard at the beginning of the season because it was the first time he was traded and he changed leagues, new team, new ballparks, new everything, and there was an adjustment period. He said, I had no idea what guys were trying to do to me because I had no history.
You know, it's really funny that he ended up with the Blue Jays after a trade from St. Louis because the Blue Jays worked him out when he was a free agent. They worked him out at the Bobby Maddox complex, and he remembered that workout. He said, I came over, I hit a little bit, took some ground balls, but he said evidently the Blue Jays weren't interested. But that was before he signed with the Cardinals, and then he signed with the Cardinals as a free agent, and the Blue Jays got him in a trade.
And I'm sure they're happy they did. He's been a very positive influence in the clubhouse. He's been good with some of the younger players.
Well, he's a first-class person to begin with. He brings a lot of character to this team, and then he's played better than expectations as far as I'm concerned. I think he's outplayed the front office's thoughts about what he might be.
Remember the first time we saw him in spring training, he took ground ball, threw it across the infield. We're like, whoa.
Got an arm. And Grichuk, he has walked in single. Another change of point. You just never know what you're going to get from Blake Snell. So early in the game, he threw a trio changeup to Aledmus Diaz for a strike. There he gets Grichuk to chase that 1-0 changeup.
He's just going to show him the fastball. He's going to try and get him out with off-speed stuff. Changeup or his curveball. He's mixed in a couple of sliders tonight. Be patient, see it out of his hand.
Breaking ball gets away from the catcher, but Diaz wasn't sure where the ball was, so he stays put at first. It's an opportunity for him to move up.
Yeah, that's a pitch that normally you can move up on, but he just didn't pick it up. It's a curveball in the dirt. He thinks Sucre blocked it, but it rolls away from him. And if you don't break right away, if you don't get a good feel for it, you can't start again. You're going to get thrown out.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Snell with 9 strikeouts. Snell has had 7 double-digit strikeout games this season. Check that, 6. His season high in strikeouts is 12. That came back on the 3rd of June at Seattle against the Mariners. 12 strikeouts in 6 innings. There goes Diaz. Which swings and misses, balls in the dirt. There's the throw to first. 10 strikeouts for Blake Snell through 5 innings. Snell and Barucki going head-to-head in this 1-1 game.
Young pitchers, regardless of all the preparation in the minor leagues, the one thing they find a little overwhelming when they're first called up to the big leagues. Walker told me the crowd, ballparks filled with 40,000 fans, whether at home in front of thousands you want to impress or in tougher environments, there's nothing rather in the minor leagues that can duplicate that kind of intensity, but a major league game, you just have to experience it. It's just a different animal, certainly more pressure. The sooner young pitchers can get used to it, Walker tells me, and truly understand it is the same game, regardless of all the distractions. It's just the same game, just on a much bigger stage, the better they'll be in their big league career.
But it is a big adjustment, and I think Pete Walker would acknowledge another adjustment is pitching to loaded lineups. In the minor leagues, you might see 1 or 2 prospects in a lineup on a given night. Every night you pitch in the big leagues, you're facing big league hitters, 1 through 9.
1 through 9, and in the American League with the designated hitter, in the American League East with the designated hitter and all those great lineups, every pitch becomes important.
And I think that's where we have seen Sean Reed-Foley, Thomas Pannone, Ryan Barucki maintain their focus while they're out on the mound, and they've all been able to pitch through tough situations. Reed-Foley's had 2 10 strikeout games in his short period of time in the big leagues. His stuff plays in the major leagues. That's going to be a question of how they're going to use him next season.
Look at it through this prism. How about veteran players, pitchers who are in the National League and they come over to the American League and get bombed? What do you think it is for a young player just coming to the major leagues to pitch in the American League?
That's a great point. One of the most recent examples of that occurred in Boston, when the big right-hander came from Florida and pitched in
Josh Beckett?
Josh Beckett. Remember when he was trying to bull his way through the American League East? I think he gave up 36 home runs his first year.
He figured it out. but you see it all the time. Pitchers come from the National League where pitchers hit, the lineups are a little bit different, they're constructed a little bit differently. And they come over here and they've had a lot of success in the National League, and they come to the American League, and it takes them a while to adjust. There's a lot of times where they get bombed. Now, look at it through the prism of a young player coming up to the big leagues for the first time.
Shallow fly ball to center field. Took great flies out to Jonathan Davis, one away.
It can be shocking, and that's what's been impressive about some of these youngsters who've come up here. It hasn't phased them at all.
Josh Beckett in 2005 pitching for the Florida Marlins went 15-8. Gave up 14 home runs in the season. The next year he went 16-11 pitching in Boston, gave up 36 home runs. And then he said, wait a minute, I got to figure something out. His ERA his first season in Boston, 5.01. He was almost 2 full runs higher his first year in the American League. And of course, you mentioned it, he made an adjustment.
Yeah, and he was an established big league pitcher.
Another routine fly ball to center. Davis waiting for it. 2 away.
A World Series MVP type of pitcher, and he had to make the adjustment. We've seen it a lot, haven't we, over the years?
Yeah, and it happened to Joe Kelly. Remember when he came from St. Louis and said, I'm going to win a Cy Young in the American League? Now he's a relief pitcher.
Hey, Fenway Park, you know, Yankee Stadium. On top of great lineups, you're dealing with very small ballparks.
Barucki misses with the first pitch to Malik Smith. He's 1 for 2. Smith had a single to start the game against Barucki, and then he was erased on a double play. That was back in the first. Shallow pop-up. A rain to the shortstop makes the play. 3 quick outs for Barucki in the 5th. Exactly as advertised. 2 lefties going head-to-head. It's a 1-1 game as we move to the 6th. Out of the ball game, he goes 5 innings. That puts him up to 180 2/3 innings for the season. He throws 82 pitches, gives up 1 earned run, and that will drop his earned run average to 1.89. That's the best in the American League.
So he is done. Can't win it, as Diego Castillo will come in now to pick up his starter. Diego Castillo, a Rays international free agent signing March of 2014. He's just 24 years old, and he throws 100. There's about 4 or 5 guys who come out of this bullpen throwing 100 miles an hour, so Castillo's been very impressive this season, pitching in the big leagues for the first time. fastball slider. That's basically what you're going to get from him.
His fastball is right at 97. That's his average fastball velocity. Rowdy Tellez gets a first pitch fastball. Ball one. Tellez had the sacrifice fly in the first inning. He's responsible for the Blue Jays run. Good cut at that fastball. 99 from Castillo.
He last worked 5 days ago, Castillo. Young pitcher in the big leagues for the first time. You just don't want to blow him out. And there's been a lot of innings out of that bullpen from the Rays, so he should be fresh.
Of course, the Rays have a lot of bullpen innings because they have used openers. They basically have 2 starters in their rotation. And they will go to the bullpen often.
That can be very deceiving with openers throwing that 1 inning and the quote starter coming in to throw 5 innings, but it goes on the relievers back in. It's very interesting, but there are a lot of young players in that bullpen. Their first full year in the big leagues or their first taste of the big leagues, and they're running out of gas the last couple of days.
Tellez fouls it back, 2-2.
You know, we saw that I thought yesterday. Tampa Bay Rays, they used 6 relievers. Alvarado we saw earlier this year, couldn't touch him. His last 2 times we've seen him, not so much.
The Tampa Bay Rays have thrown almost 100 more innings than the Oakland Athletics. And they've thrown the most innings in the majors due to the openers they have utilized. Tampa Bay coming in this game 813 in the 3rd innings. Oakland 600, almost 200 innings. I was mistaken. 200 innings more than the number 2 team in the majors in innings pitched by the bullpen.
As a reliever, that's right. 813 and a 3rd.
Tellez gets a piece of it to stay alive. Full
And
count.
we know how good the Oakland Athletics bullpen is. And that might have something to do, Oakland being second, with all the problems they've had in their starting lineup, starting rotation.
They have had, I believe, 10 starters go down with injuries this year. Significant injuries where they're out for the season, so they've had to mix and match.
So what have they done too? They've had some openers. Liam Hendricks has done that a couple of times.
Yeah, recently they've had to use the opener. Rowdy Tellez hanging tough. Bouncing ball, foul.
Who has thrown the fewest innings in the American League? Well, just look at the pitching staff that has all those strikeout pitchers.
Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians and the Houston Astros are 30th and 29th in innings pitched by the bullpen. The lowest innings for relievers internationally, Colorado Rockies.
That's surprising.
It is, because they have had an exceptional season. And their starters have pitched well, so they haven't had to go to their bullpen as frequently as they have in the past. Another 3-2 pitch. Tellez chases one out of the zone, one away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Dodgers have won 5 straight NL West titles, and Colorado would win if the Dodgers lose, but Colorado now has to win to keep pace. The Colorado Rockies have a game advantage over the Dodgers going into play. Colorado's won 8 in a row. They are just now getting underway. They haven't started yet out in Colorado.
They get Strasburg. They're going against Strasburg, and then maybe Scherzer tomorrow.
Yeah, if the game is of significance for a pennant race, Max Scherzer will start that game on Sunday. Even though he's already reached plateaus of 300 strikeouts. Another great season for Scherzer.
How about Colorado? They've won 8 in a row. Came out of nowhere, really, and now lead the National League West.
Yeah, tonight it's Steven Strasburg against John Gray. That's the pitching matchup in Denver. 22nd start for Strasburg. There's a deep drive. Get out of here, ball. This one's going to go. Teoscar Hernandez has just broken the tie with home run number 22. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Oh my goodness. That ball shot out of here by Teoscar, and that's what I was talking about earlier. He's got something you just can't teach, and that is power. The way the ball comes off of his bat. If he can get any consistency in his swing where he makes more contact, he's going to be a 30-35 home run guy easily. That thing still hasn't come back. Grichuk is getting his share again. But it was a hanging slider from Castillo, and he stayed on it. Doesn't have to overswing. Stay right with it. Watch this nice, easy swing. Recognizes the slider, and that thing he puts into orbit.
Home run number 22 went a long way.
Look where it ends up. They cover up those seeps with that tarpaulin, and it almost hits it over that.
Above the walkway. Deep in left field. So he has homered for a second straight night. It had been a long drought for Teoscar. Look at the manager for tomorrow saying, hey, stay hot, kid. I need you tomorrow.
Yeah, how do you feel?
Hey, get your rest tonight now. I need another home run tomorrow from you. Sunflower seeds, and Teoscar, if you're not familiar with it, he's the one that started that sunflower seed shower after a home run. So everybody that has been victimized by Teoscar is getting some payback the last 2 days. Danny Jansen, the catcher, behind 1 and 2. There's the strikeout, 2 away.
Right. Another strikeout, but let's take another look. How about the exit velocity? 111. And on a line projected at 440 feet. I mean, that's how the big boys do it. And Teoscar, I think, has that in him. He just needs a little bit more experience. He needs to get that swing a little bit more under control where he makes a little bit more contact consistently. He's an everyday player.
Richard Arania fouls this one up. Another look at the celebration in the dugout. They all got their seeds. They got popcorn. And I say, hey, this is payback for you, buddy. And boy, they got it. Bubble gum, popcorn, everything. You know, you mentioned 111 miles an hour off the bat, just for perspective's sake. Giancarlo Stanton has the highest exit velocity this season at 121.7. A home run he hit on the 9th of August. Can you imagine that?
121.
121.
How'd you like to be playing third base?
No, thank you.
How'd you like to be pitching? And one of those come back at you.
There have been 4 balls hit over 120 miles an hour, and Giancarlo Stanton has hit 3 of them. Gary Sanchez has the other. Ureña strikes out, but the Blue Jays take the lead. Teoscar Hernandez has homered for a second straight night. This home run with 1 out gives the Blue Jays the lead and gives Teoscar a sunflower shower for sure. his 17th start of the season, and he has really been consistent. 6 or more innings pitched with 2 or fewer earned runs. He has done it 11 times. That's the most on the Blue Jays staff.
Yeah, throw another shutout inning here in the 6th inning, and that'll be 12. What's impressive about that, his first start was June the 26th, and he leads the team in that category. At least 6 or more innings, 2 earned runs or less. He's done 11 times.
Left fielder Tommy Pham takes it inside. Pham has not reached base tonight. He has a streak of 30 straight games reaching base. That's the longest active streak in the majors. Line drive, and he must have heard me. Tommy Pham with a leadoff single. Boy, what a pretty stroke that was.
Yeah, that sinker down and away. He came into this series hitting .365 this month. Second highest batting average in September in Rays history. Only Carl Crawford in 2010 has hit for a higher average. Look at that pretty swing. Down and away. Keeps his head down. Starts off the 6th inning with a single.
31 straight games now reaching base. That's the longest streak by a Rays hitter since Evan Longoria reached in 34 straight. Longoria's streak stretched over 2 seasons, 2012-2013. 31 straight games for Tommy Pham reaching base.
They have him in the right spot in the batting order, number 2. Get that on-base percentage up, get him on base, and let the guys in the middle of the lineup try and bring him around.
Boy, a good inside strike. It's 0-2. You can see the reaction of Willy Adames jumping back from that inside fastball. That's the two-seamer that he works inside to righties. Fly ball right field. Alford back. He's got room in front of the fence. Makes the catch. Pham has to hold. One away.
The 2018 Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
Final Saturday night game of the season for both of these ball clubs. Regular season ends tomorrow. In case you're unaware, the schedule tomorrow is really interesting. Every game begins at 3 Eastern time. For competitive balance, make sure nobody has an edge. If an East Coast team is playing at 1 and the other team doesn't play till 4, you could adjust it according to what has happened on the East Coast. But everybody starts at 3 Eastern tomorrow.
And there are still things to decide in the National League. Chicago, Milwaukee, Cubbies won today. No, excuse me, they lost today. If Milwaukee wins, they will tie Chicago.
Milwaukee's losing 3-0. There goes the base runner Pham, and he picks up a stolen base. His 14th steal of the season. So he's in scoring position. He got a good jump.
Yeah, he went on first movement. They didn't throw over there any time since he's been over at first base, so he just took off on first movement. Takes a quick peek to see what's happening around home plate and steals it.
Blue Jays are checking with their video room. I don't think there was any doubt that he was safe. So Pham with the stolen base gets himself in a scoring position for C.J. Cron. He homered to deep right center back in the 2nd. Barecki gave Pham one extra look, and that was good because Pham had taken a big leap towards 3rd.
Yeah, you can't be predictable when you're out there. If you're pitching and you're trying to hold runners on, you got to give them a couple looks. You got to quick pitch him. You got to hold. You got to step off. There's all kind of things you can do to slow down base runners.
3-1. Kind of surprised they don't just walk him here. Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Got a lefty bat on deck, and
Don't throw him a strike.
Don't throw him a strike. If he wants to chase, let him. So here's where you got a young battery have to assess the situation, even though Crone represents the go-ahead run. Pham at second, he represents the tying run. Popped up a mile high. Left fielder Hernandez comes in, he makes the catch, and Crone just missed it.
That was a slider that was down, and he's got some power. He became the 9th player in Rays history to have a 30 home run season. That one looked like it went in one of those rings and came out. I mean, that's how high that thing was towards left field.
So Crone is retired, second out of the inning. Now you really have to take advantage of this matchup. Brandon Lau has struck out both times he's faced Barucki. Two and 0. 2-1 ball game. Hits are even at 4 apiece.
His only 2 strikeouts have been against Brandon Lau. You got the tough hitter and C.J. Crone to pop up for the second out. Got to go after him now. Make good pitches.
Ground ball up the middle and gets through. Fans coming around to score. Brandon Lau with an RBI single has tied it up. He fell behind Lau.
That's the whole key to that at bat right there. You got the tough hitter out in Crone. You got the matchup you wanted, a left-handed batter against the left-handed pitcher, but you fell behind. Fell behind 2-0. You're going to paint a fastball, but you got to get it on the corner. You can see Danny Jansen was set up off the plate away, and it ends up over the middle of the plate. Birdie can't knock it down, and the Rays have tied it here in the 6th.
Carlos Gomez. And they got a runner picked off. Throw to second is a good throw by Tellez, and Brandon Lau went on the first movement. But that first movement was to first base, but the Rays tied up. A 2-out RBI single by Brandon Lau. Presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The Rays pond beyond the fence in right center. Great attraction for everybody here that comes to Tropicana Field. Again, it's a tie ball game. 2-2. Anthony Alford fouls off the first pitch. Alford has struck out and flied out.
I'd like to see him get on. I want to see what he can do with his speed. He's got exceptional speed. Both he and Jonathan Davis, if they're on base, I'd like to see what they can do. Turn him loose.
Got to get him on base.
Blue Jays haven't had this type of athlete in their system for a long time. It used to be Blue Jays had them every year coming up from the minor leagues.
Well, it's the first outfielder that had the tool set like Anthony Alford in my mind was Lloyd Mosby. Center fielder that could run, he had power, could steal bases. Anthony hasn't mastered the skills yet. Still getting acclimated to playing baseball. He was a terrific high school and college football player. The Blue Jays signed him initially and allowed him to return to play college football.
Finally gave that up a couple of years ago, and now got a chance to just concentrate on baseball. And that's all he should do year round. If he's got a chance to go play winter ball, go play winter ball, Arizona Fall League, whatever it takes. Just keep playing, because all he needs is experience.
Yeah, there's no question about his athleticism. He's a phenomenal athlete. He played quarterback in college and then transferred and played defensive back in college. I mean, it tells you all you need to know about his athleticism.
Blue Jays took a chance on him. I believe he was a third-round draft pick, so a pretty high draft pick for the Blue Jays.
2012. And he didn't play many baseball games early on. 2012 he played in 5 games. 13 he played in 6 games. And in 14 he played in 14 games.
Injuries had something to do with that. Playing a little football had something to do with that. But it's just been the last couple of years where he's concentrated solely on baseball.
Good take there. That runs it to a full count. Anthony this season in AAA Buffalo hit .240. Had 17 stolen bases. He was caught 7 times. Played 105 games for the Bisons. Breaking ball on the inside corner. Another strikeout. It's 4 strikeouts for Castillo since entering the game.
He struck out everybody but gave up the home run to Hernandez. How about that? 3-2 slider. I think Anthony was looking for the fastball and they threw him the breaking ball.
So that'll turn the lineup over once again. John Birdie, the leadoff man. He's 1 for 3 so far. Birdie is 28 years old. He was a 36th round pick by the Blue Jays, and just his making it to the big leagues is quite an accomplishment. Little chopper, bouncing ball toward third. Velasquez throws him out. 2 outs here in the top half of the 7th. Castillo made the one mistake. He hung a breaking ball to Teoscar Hernandez, and Teoscar hit it 9 miles.
On a line. We figure that there might be a few strikeouts tonight. We got a lot of young kids facing pitchers for the first time. You got possibly the Cy Young Award winner starting for this team. There's been a few punch outs tonight.
Blue Jays have struck out 14 times. They also have 4 walks. They haven't been able to capitalize on those. They only have 4 hits. Tampa Bay has 5 hits. It's a 2-2 game. Center fielder Jonathan Davis. He's 0 for 3. Down and away. Tough to hit that pitch.
Yeah. You're better off just letting it go, hoping he calls it off the plate. Not afraid to use his slider. He's got a lot of confidence in that slider.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Adames quickly to first. Nice dig by C.J. Cron. Good defensive play by the shortstop and the first baseman. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. It's a 2-2 tie game.
Canada's largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. Come visit us at the Toronto Eaton Centre, Rogers Centre gates 1 and 5, and every in-stadium kiosk. For more information, visit jshop.ca or call 1-877-JSHOP.
Thank you very much, Hazel. As the Blue Jay fans have seen Ryan Borucki impress once again. Borucki, 6 innings, 2 runs on 5 hits. The 12th time he has pitched 6 or more innings and allowed 2 or fewer runs. 88 pitches for Borucki to this point.
And they've been pretty consistent about the 100 pitches for him. They don't have really an innings limit on him right now. I'm gonna let him just finish it out. But he's getting close to getting finished.
You would think there's no signs that he's tiring out. Still got good solid fastball, and his command has been consistent. Breaking ball, and Gomez strikes out. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. What a season it has been for the Milwaukee Brewers. They went out and made some dramatic adjustments and made a trade for Christian Yelich. They brought in Lorenzo Cain as a free agent. Later on in the season, they brought in Mike Moustakas. They have been very active, and the players have responded. That Milwaukee team has been special.
Jonathan Scope, Gio Gonzalez they brought in. What's your definition of a most valuable player? A guy who can put a team on his back
There's a deep drive to right. If it's fair, it's gone, and it is a fair ball. Austin Meadows with a home run, his 6th of the season, and that breaks the tie.
Do you like what you see from Austin Meadows?
Yes, I do.
That's a left-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher who's been throwing a whale of a game. And there's no panic in the way that he plays this game. Under control, doesn't try and do too much. There's a pitch on the inner half, and he's got some pop. That is a 6th home run in very limited time, limited play this year. Got him from the Pirates, a former first-round draft pick. Unties this game with one swing. Ryan hoping that this ball hooks foul. Instead, it curls around that foul pole.
To Hopper to the shortstop, Arena. Sucre is thrown out. That home run for Meadows, his first as a member of the Rays. He did not get called up until September. He hit 5 earlier in the season with the Pirates before the trade. And that's his first for the Rays, and it comes at a good time. Tim Mesa loosening up for the Blue Jays. He should be ready. That's a fair ball. Velasquez is around first. He's thinking about going to third. Big wide turn, but he'll stop there. Andrew Velasquez, his first hit of the night is a double.
Ryan Barucki. He's pitched another really good ball game. Unfortunately, he can't win this one now. John Gibbons has already come out, and he wants a different matchup against Malik Smith.
So Barucki gives up a pair of home runs here tonight. First 2 home runs he's surrendered in 5 September starts. He'll walk off the mound trailing 3-2. Tim Mesa in to face Malik Smith. After 6 2/3, he is charged with 3 runs on 7 hits. The runner on base at second is his responsibility. So he comes out of the ball game and turns things over to Tim Mesa, another lefty. Mesa to face Malik Smith.
Yeah, just to give Smith something different to look at. Tim pitched in a game last night. It was just a third of an inning. Got the ground down to Joey Wendell. Batters are hitting 239 against him. That's a season low against him. At one point they were hitting 368, but it's been a steady decline. His slider's been better. He hasn't been walking batters like he did earlier. And I think he's a guy that you got to think about for next year in the bullpen right now.
I agree with you 100%. He threw 2 pitches last night to get the out. That closed out the Rays in the 7th.
I think that batting average is just going to continue to go down against him. Short spurts that they have used him in. It's He's now pitched in 37 games this year. He's 2-0.
Mesa picked up the win in the game last night. He actually closed out the 6th inning when he got Joey Wendell to ground out to end the inning. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Alex Smith asked for time. Smith singled in his first at bat. He has since grounded out and popped out. Russell Martin continues to mentor this young roster. Anxious to share his experience with all the young kids that have come up. Tim Mesa behind, 2 balls and a strike. Got Smith to foul off that slider.
We've seen it all the time. Left-handed pitchers, for some reason, it seems like it takes them a while to develop. There's not a lot of them that just come to the big leagues and just burst on the scene. And for Tim Mesa, it's been a couple of years as he tries to figure out. He really rode the shuttle this year, up and down. I think 6 or 7 different times that he has come up and down between the minor leagues and the major leagues, just trying to get himself established at the major league level. But it seems like something has clicked in over the last 6 weeks or so.
There's another shining example of what you're talking about in Milwaukee and Josh Hader. It's taken Hader a long time to get things together, but boy, he's put together a terrific season this year working in the bullpen for the Brewers.
He's bounced around through 3 different organizations, hasn't he?
Baltimore, Houston, and now Milwaukee. Yeah, it's interesting. He started out as an 18-year-old in the minor leagues with the Brewers. That's the team that drafted him. But it's only been the last couple of seasons that he's made it to the major leagues. This year, he's had his finest season by far. Coming into action tonight, Hader has 140 strikeouts and on 79 innings.
Their bullpen's really good.
Yeah, their
really
bullpen can take them a long way into the postseason. 3-2, 2 outs. Velasquez at second. A run in for Tampa Bay here. Fly ball out of play. Austin Meadows connected for his first home run as a Ray. His 6th home run of the season. Just inside the foul pole down the right field line.
But I see that in Mesa. Tim just turned 26 years old at the beginning of this season, so he's got a lot of years ahead of him. And he's got a bright future as a left-hander. And if you're left-handed, you can throw strikes. You can pitch a long time in the major league.
This is trouble. Little looper down the left field line. That's a fair ball. It runs in. Here's the throw to second, and Smith is out at second, but the damage is done. Malik Smith with a little flare down the left field line picks up an RBI. He drives in the second run of an inning. He is thrown out to end the inning, but Tampa Bay has taken a 4-2 lead as we go to the 8th. that span 6 2/3. He gives up 70 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The rookie really victimized by that little flare. That extra run came in on the flare off the bat of Malik Smith. That was his responsibility.
Yeah, he gets charged with that. His 4th earned run allowed in 6 2/3 innings. The Rays now need 6 outs, and I don't know how they're going to do it now. Do they match up? Well, if they are, they're going to bring in Chaz Rowe to face a couple of right-handers to lead off the 8th inning. Chaz pitched in last night's game, and you're going to see a lot of slider from Chaz Rowe. He's got a good one.
Rowe pitched just 1/3 of an inning. He came in, started the inning, gave up a double to Pilar, and then got a ground out off the bat of Solarte, and then he was out of the game. There's a breaking ball. High pop up. Brendan Lau makes the catch, 1 away.
Hurry into Home Hardware's kitchen event, on now until October 9th. Here's how.
Back in Tropicana Field, Andrew Gritchick, he has gone 1 for 2. He has walked and struck out, had a single in the 3rd inning. Blue Jays have just 4 hits tonight.
You know, I mentioned about how are they going to finish this off. In yesterday's game, they used 6 relievers, the Tampa Bay Rays. Glasnow pitched into the 6th inning, and it took them 6 relievers to finish through 9. I mention that because they've used the relievers a lot, and they're getting tired towards the end of the season. So Rowe's breaking balls match up against Diaz and Gritchick.
Well, they started the game with 17 relievers, so I think they got enough guys to get through this game. But I appreciate your concern.
You never know how they're going to do it.
17 relievers. Gritchick called out on that inside breaking ball. He thought it came around the plate. 15 strikeouts for Rays pitching tonight.
If you're right-handed and you're facing Chaz Rowe, you're going to get a lot of breaking balls. Randall thought this one was inside. Hard breaking ball. And he might be right.
Rowdy Tellez. Tellez has gone 0 for 2. He had a sacrifice fly his first time up. He has struck out twice. Once against Snell, once against Castillo. He was the first batter Castillo faced back in the 6th. Off the plate. 2-0. Tellez has power. He's got 4 home runs since coming up to the Blue Jays.
Tell you, that home run he hit last night was impressive. I've seen a lot of kids hit that type of ball and just pull it into the stands. It was a curveball down and in off the plate, and he was able to hit it to right field for that home run. He's got exceptional power, and you know what else he has? Pretty good idea at the plate for a young hitter, his first trip to the major leagues.
Hot shot right into the shift. And that'll do it. Chaz Rowe retires the side in order. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Tampa Bay has the lead 4-2. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Settle and Kevin Barker.
Presented by Honda at the Model Clearout event. The real victory lap is the drive home.
Blue Jays had a 1-0 lead top half of the first. Rays tied it up. They went back and forth, and now with 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, Tampa Bay has a 4-2 lead. New pitcher for the Jays, big right-hander, David Paulino.
He was reinstated from the disabled list. He had a right shoulder strain recalled by the Blue Jays on September the 5th. Well, since then, he's pitched in 6 games, and he's done okay. He's 1-0. Still building back that arm strength. Before he was injured, his fastball was 95 plus. But he's got 3 pitches for a reliever. Fastball, curveball, real slow curveball, and a nice little changeup. Not afraid to use it. Right now, I think he's just trying to get his feel back out on the mound.
Tommy Pham singled and scored his last time up. There's a fastball, 92. Pham is 1 for 3. His average for the season, 272. High pop-up and misses that A ring. Oscar Hernandez stays with it, makes the catch. Pham's retired. Left fielder Tommy Pham is 1 for 4 tonight. First out of the inning for David Paulino.
He's an interesting guy when you start to look for next season. Been in the Tiger organization. He's been in the Houston Astros organization. He's definitely going to be, you know, one of the relievers or one of the pitchers that they think about next year in spring training, making the team out of the bullpen.
It's a 4-2 Rays lead, and with that, Sergio Romo, their closer, is loosening up. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th. Hernandez, Jansen, and Urena, the scheduled batters for the Blue Jays. Wild swing from Adames. 0-2. Looking at the scores, Milwaukee has just taken a 5-2, 5-3 lead over Detroit at Miller Park. They're in the bottom of the 4th. The Cubs, in case you missed it, Cubs lost today as Adames picks up his 2nd hit of the ball game.
And if Milwaukee wins, they tie. And if they both win tomorrow, the National League Central will be settled in a 1-game playoff. Think about that. That would be on Monday. A playoff game.
A lot of ramifications, even though we're in the last 2 games of the season. The Dodgers beat the Giants, so they have punched their ticket to the postseason. Deep drive to left field. It's going to be long enough, but it is a foul ball. The ball hit foul. Umpire at third base is calling it foul, and it struck the ring in foul territory. And no matter where it strikes the ground, once it strikes the ring in foul territory, it will always be foul, no matter where it comes down. Now the third base umpire, Mark Carlson, you see the foul pole on the ring? That yellow pole, that's the foul pole for those rings. There's one on that ring, and there's one on the B ring as well.
That gives the umpire a chance because it can be hit like it did right here. That was just to the left of that foul pole up on that ring. Teoscar knows if it hits fair and comes down fair, it's playable. So he was chasing it down all the way.
C.J. Cron just missed another home run. He pulled that one foul. He homered in the 2nd off Barucki. Bottom of the 8th, Tampa Bay with a 4-2 lead. Bouncing ball. Arena has one play. That's the first. Both John Birdie and Arena went after the baseball. And there was nobody at second for Arena to throw to, so he had to go to first base. He throws after the ball.
And that's the parts of the shifts where you're just not real sure. Ball, you're in a shift, the ball's hit between the infielders. There is Birdie. He goes after the ball, so there's nobody at second base. Ranger does the next best thing. Gets that runner over at first base.
Brandon Lau had a big base hit in the sixth, a 2-out RBI single. That tied it up at the time, 2-2. He was later in that same inning caught stealing. He went on the first move and Barucki went to first. It was a caught stealing 1-3-4. Two balls and no strikes. Marco Estrada's spot was tomorrow, but he is not going to make that start. He has been dealing with some back issues, and this will probably be his last season with the Blue Jays. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He's had quite a career with the Blue Jays.
Yes, he has. Has the manager announced who's going to pitch tomorrow?
Russell?
Yes, Russell announced.
I'm not sure he's made up his mind yet, has he?
I think it's Sam Gaviglio. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to watch that unfold tomorrow.
In case you haven't heard, Russell Martin will be the manager of the Blue Jays tomorrow. John Gibbons isn't going anywhere, but Russell's going to be the manager. He will make all the moves, make all the pitching changes, as Brandon Lau takes ball 4. So Russell and John Gibbons had a conversation about the possibility of Russell managing one day. So yeah, it might be fun. So Russell maybe have a little chat with his pitcher tomorrow. Say, listen, I need a win. So you get your rest tonight, and I'll make sure that I leave you out there as long as I can.
See, he's already a smart manager. He's sitting next to tomorrow's starter, giving him a little pep talk, talking about the hitters.
Carlos Gomez, the right fielder. Big mighty swing on the first pitch. Gomez is 0 for 2 with the walk. Barucki struck him out in the 7th. Foul tip into the catcher's mitt.
Yeah, he likes to go up there swinging. Very aggressive player at the plate. He's had a rough time lately. His last hit that he got was on September the 9th at Baltimore. 0 for 18 since then. But everybody talks about Carlos Gomez being a great leader with some of these young players that they have in this organization.
Mentioned he's in his 12th season. Breaking ball called strike 3. So Paulino gets out of it. The Rays leave a couple of base runners on. We will go to the 9th. Sergio Romo coming on, looking for the save. 2014 Honda Odyssey. With available Honda Vac, it always bats cleanup.
The scheduled hitter for the Blue Jays to lead off this inning is going to be Teoscar Hernandez. This is what he did in his last at bat with 1 out in the 6th inning. Picks on this slider from Castillo, sends it a long way. Look at StatCast, 440 with an exit velocity of 111 miles an hour. Teoscar Hernandez with his 22nd home run tonight is our drive of the game.
Well, you see Teoscar in the dugout as he has been lifted in favor of the pinch hitter. It'll be the left-handed bat, Billy McKinney, facing Sergio Romo. Blue Jays trail by 2.
Romo can be very tough on right-handed batters. He's 24 for 32 in save opportunities this season. Opponents hitting .253 against him. Right-handers are scheduled, so John Gibbons has gone to his bench to bring in some left-handers.
McKinney for the season batting .263. 6 homers, 13 RBIs. He's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Two balls and a strike. Blue Jays have but 4 hits. Teoscar Hernandez homered in the 6th. The other 3 hits all singles. That slider jammed McKinney. We'll be back here tomorrow for the final game of the season. And in case you haven't heard, Russell Martin's going to be the skipper tomorrow. It all starts at 2:30 Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie, Joe, and Kevin. So Russell Martin in his managerial debut on Sunday. It'll be kind of fun to watch him, see how he manages the team, how he handles the lineup. He's going to make the lineup up. John said he's going to make all the pitching changes, so it's all on you, Russell.
Yeah.
Want to finish up on a winning note.
Yeah. Sleep on it tonight. Go back and look at all the matchups that you might have to deal with.
I think he will just use his catcher's instinct. Maybe Pilar's going to be the bench coach, getting some instruction from DeMarlo Hale.
Not a bad idea.
Huh?
Huh? Not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on right there. They're talking about what are you going to do tomorrow when you have to make a move. Breaking ball called strike 3. McKinney thought it was off the plate outside. That'll be the first out of the top half of the ninth.
Yeah, he can be tough. Romo mentioned he's got 24 saves. Billy McKinney trying to work the walk, and he's going to backdoor him with that slider. Comes from the other batter's box.
Carlos Gomez has moved from right to center field. With that, Malik Smith has moved from center to right field. Interesting. Tommy Pham is still out in left. This is Reese McGuire, who is pinch hitting for Danny Jansen. Sergio Romo, he of course is the one that had that tough outing back at Rogers Center on Thursday. And the Blue Jays scored 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to win it. That basically took Tampa Bay out of the possibility of getting to the wild card.
He had to turn it on quickly, didn't he? Remember they started that inning up by 6 runs. He was just kicking his feet up, and a couple of runners got on. And I remember seeing him say, hey, get ready very quickly. And he had to try and get ready quick. He came in, gave up 2 home runs.
Yeah, Jamie Schultz started that inning. And you're right. I think Romo was just sitting down there thinking, I'm not going to be in this game. We've got a big lead.
Yeah, you just mentally shut it down. And then you got to start it back up.
3-2 now as that ball is fouled off the catcher Sucre. And on the forearm.
They got that shoulder thing to help you, but that one went right off the bicep area, tricep area. That shoulder guard didn't go down far enough for him.
Trying to get the feeling back into that left arm. Reese McGuire with a full count. Swinging a drive deep to right field. Malik Smith at the wall. This ball is gone. Reese McGuire, his second home run of the season. And it's a one-run game. McGuire got a hang and breaking ball from Romo. That's the same pitch he tried to throw to Billy McKinney and got a call strike 3. But this time, McGuire took him deep.
That's absolutely right. He sat on that on-deck circle and saw a 3-2 slider from Romo to McKinney for an out. Said, you know what? I'm going to guess he's going to throw me a 3-2 slider. He sped his bat up, and he's made this a one-run game. Tampa Bay plays a lot of one-run games.
More than anybody in baseball. They lost a one-run decision last night, 7-6.
Slider. This one's going to come out over the plate, and Reese stays on it. Doesn't give up on it. He saw that last one to McKinney. Stayed right on that one. Rode it out of here.
Fastball away. 2-0 to Richard Urania. Urania's had a rough night on the heels of a 3-hit night last night. Tonight he struck out 3 times. Dustin Smoke has grabbed a bat. He's standing on deck. And just fouls it off.
It was Smoke who had the big home run, the game winner against Romo on a changeup. So Gibby's got a lot of firepower over on that bench.
Changeup. He strikes him out. 2 away now. So it's an interesting matchup. Sergio Romo against Justin Smoke. Smoke batting for Anthony Alford. And Smoke hit a walk-off home run against Romo in the opener of that 4-game series at Rogers Center.
It was a first pitch changeup. That was down right where Smokey likes it, and he rode it out of here. It'll be interesting to see how he pitches to him now.
Smoke for the season is 1 for 5. With that home run, he's driven in 5 runs. First pitch fastball is off the plate.
I think that's what, if you're Romo, you have to do that. You have to pitch away from his power. Smokey's got one thing on his mind right now. Pick on a pitch, middle in, and see how far you can hit it.
And on the inside corner. Smoke has 25 home runs, 77 RBIs for the season. Smoke is tied with Grichuk for the team lead in homers.
Just watch Sucre, the catcher. Everything is going to be away. I think the only pitch that's going to be in is if he misses.
Another pitch off the plate away, but it's fouled off. 2-2 to Smoke.
Sucre wanted a change up there, and Romo had some flashbacks, and he shook him off. Said, I'm going to stay fastball away.
13,221 here. Strike 3 call. Smoke on it was low. That's the ball game. Romo strikes out 3 in the inning, gives up a home run, but the Rays will win it 4-3. Another one-run win for Tampa Bay.
Well, we figured it was going to be a close game tonight with Ryan Barucki and Blake Snell throwing. And it turned out to be a strikeout fest. Snell had 10, Castillo had 4, Rowe 1, and Romo struck out the side. Blue Jays home runs got him back into the game, but it just wasn't enough as Tampa Bay takes game 2.
So they have split the first 2 games of this season-ending series. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching, folks. Stay tuned. Here's Boozer.